So today I want to riff on something that is based in, uh, I guess, a couple of things, but mainly maybe two things. And the first one of them being that this is all a beautiful mistake, right? The universe is a beautiful mistake. Life manifest is a beautiful mistake. This is something Matias De Stéfano has mentioned. Um, and true genesis theory, as in there was a cosmic anomaly and then this happened, and etc etc. Here we are suffering, coming out of suffering, hopefully in the age of Aquarius, the dawn of the golden age. And the second one being that Rudolf Steiner said that man would return to spirituality through reason. So it wouldn't be through heart, through the astral, or through physicality or through transcendence, but it would be through reason. It would be through what comes as of the Descartes coffee revolution, right? I paired Descartes and coffee because both of them really brought energy to the head. Aquarius is an air sign that resides actually in the ankles, but nevertheless it is an air sign. So it is a sign that is kind of gassy, kind of upward moving, kind of light, kind of vata. And kind of reason bringing, right? But nevertheless, it is not a mistake that the intellect took precedence and brought all this suffering, right? Because reason is sort of, many would say, the cause of the suffering, right? But maybe nothing is a mistake if it is thought of as experiment, right? As this sort of dance of chaos trying to reshape itself. And so I think I am seeing a lot of reason taking us down to spirituality again, right? There is a big sort of war waged um, on the thinking process, on the cerebral process in the, like, the New Age communities, the Buddhist communities, all that. Everybody who's basically tried to meditate has kind of happened upon the notion that thinking is just bad, right? Then people distinguish between mind diarrhea and between actual logical thinking, A, B, C kind of thinking. But I do believe that reason can lead us back to spirituality and transcendence, because at some point the thoughts do acquire a certain, even if it is mind diarrhea, it does acquire a certain relative nobility when you prime your physicality, or when you prime your attention to the transcendent, the unborn mind. Then thoughts you don't necessarily stop them. You don't stop the mind diarrhea, but you certainly tune out from its significance. And I think that even that you don't have to do. You can also rely on it as the sort of electricity, or the top of the flame of the emotions that it is, right? You learn to see that thought is this sort of electricity just zapping from the heart's flame. It is said that thoughts are just emotions gassing, right? And emotions are just thoughts you've had for a very, very long while. Mentalism, right? The mentalist principle, universe being mental, all that. So I think it's happening that reason is taking us back to the transcendent, to spirituality. And I reckon that this is called post-psychedelic neuromysticism, at least in its contingent sort of, um, uh, I guess, prototypic form. And so let's unpack that. I think that post psychedelic means that something is indeed, or the culture has indeed gone past psychedelic rituals as something that is a sort of ballad for the unknown, right? So the hippies took psychedelics and they went into the unknown and they sort of gathered this and that from that. A lot of limerence, a lot of free love, and what have you. But today, so much of psychedelic culture has become for gain, right? For gaining the next app idea, or even for gaining yourself, right? So it is packaged as a ritual of letting go, but what you do is you actually go to have a psychedelic experience to sort of institute a religion of your own or to sort of evolve. So we are still in the Taurian I have paradigm, right? It's still, I'm not saying it's bad and I'm not saying it's not useful, but it's still, it still has elements of this I have, right? And the Scorpio polarity, which is I desire. So therefore, I say that it is a post psychedelic culture we live in. Also, because it is sort of underpinned by a nihilism, like the nihilism, the meaninglessness that the internet has brought into the culture. Like, oh, you know, everything is a psyop, or everything is a joke, or everything is a meme. All this has also been underpinning psychedelic culture, right? To which, by the way, I count meditation, right? A lot of people think that meditation is about experience, right? And they fall into these dragon sicknesses, God forbid, or just they fall into what the old British call fancy, right? That they think that the experience is the aim of the meditation. It is not. The experience is not the aim of the meditation. And so all of this is psychedelic culture, right? It's not really mysticism culture per se. We've come out of it. It's a post-psychedelic culture. We're in memes now. We're coming out of memes too slowly, but the culture still loves to have their memes. The positive sort of consequence of memes is that we're actually getting back to laughter. Laughter being truly one of the three triunes of actual spirituality, which is better said by Matias De Stéfano than myself. And it's a spirituality is simple. It actually is breathe through your fears. Learn to breathe through your fears. I would say learn to breathe through your cringe too. Secondly, laugh. Okay, because laughing is the utmost form of letting go. And then third, eat what your body asks for. Don't eat what the intellect says is dietary or moral or ethical. Eat what your body is actually asking for, which of course warrants you embodying yourself enough to have those feelings, which a lot of people are frankly post-nutritional too. But that's not what I'm going to talk about now. Nevertheless, so that is spirituality, right? And the belly laugh has a sort of, in a true sort of surprising way, come at us and given us back spirituality. Because if you indulge enough in memes, you come out of nihilism and you come back to a loving laughter. So that is that works actually. I, for one, think that the internet and its current iteration will always remain in lower astral, lower 4D, because it is a dream that sort of keeps either waging war per proselytizing, or a dream that keeps waging actual war, actually othering the so-called enemy, actually keeping pointing out good and evil, right? But everything is subject to change, and so we are coming out of that sort of psychedelic state through a variety of measures. So post-psychedelic neuromysticism, right? And then the neuromysticism aspect, right? It's not mysticism per se, which is best described by the Tao Te Ching, which is where it says that mysticism appears when you meet the world of objects without desire, right? So if you look at things and you desire, all you will see is the appearance of the object, right? But if you learn to either recess your desire, or if you learn to sort of curb it, to let your will, the water, take over the fire, then you will see the mystery in all so-called objects, right? And so this is true mysticism, right? To be able to see beyond appearances. Neuromysticism is precisely what I reckon Rudolf Steiner prophesied we would, or prophesized we would come to, right? We are at a stage where the brain is sort of turning on itself. Either you get all these mental diagnoses, or you die, you stroke out, or you're addicted to the internet, or you turn the brain on itself in the dawn of Aquarius, and you realize that there can be a mysticism here too, except you're still stuck in the post-psychedelic state, which still contains a lot of the nihilism and all that, right? The brain has been falsely demonized as this evil, satanic, moon, Saturn cult thing. And it can be that, but so can most things. I think that the brain was separated for a variety of reasons, right? Like we have coffee, which creates a separation on the physical level. We have nicotine. A lot of people take it in Sweden. Every other dude will snooze, right? So nicotine is also a separational agent, where it actually makes body parts think that they're separate from one another. It's very interesting to read up on this stuff when Rudolf Steiner talks about it. Yeah, but I think that this is what post-psychedelic neuromysticism is, right? We are at a stage where the world has not yet fully cohered. We are still experiencing storms and winds in the astral, in the 3D. But we are sort of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, right? So we, at least many of us, I feel, have unnihilistically, which is to say teleologically, like meaningfully given up on life. And to give up on life means to make room for love, right? And so I think that's all we gotta do is just keep being aware, right? Keep being aware of where this post-psychedelic neuromysticism takes us. And keep building the new, not destroying the old, which is not only incredibly boring, but also incredibly inefficient. Because one thing that ego powers are good at is to clinging until death and beyond to what they have built for themselves. If you're in a system and you're working it from within, good, but to forcefully try to like save Rome or such, I don't think that's happening. I think we got to build anew. And the new is Aquarius. The new is individuality, building your individuality, realizing what community is to you, realizing that air is entering the picture, having been in water with Pisces. And so, yeah, blessings